Hi everyone, welcome to the quantitative research methods. This is one of the subjects for final year students in statistics study program, mathematics department, University of Indonesia. So previously we've learned uh, about what is it, the template and what is expected um, for your research report. For this session, it will be just a short session. I just want to show you a really good website that will help you in improving your writing, how to express yourself better in an academic writing. Because remember, this is not just about writing, but this is a scientific and academic writing, which means that every statement that you write in your report should be able to be, you should be responsible for each statement that you write in your report. So for that, there is like some guidelines in choosing the expression, like not too overwhelming, not too what is it, give like some claims without supporting evidence. That's why you need to put your reference, and we will have another session on how to do citation and referencing. Okay, so here like I told you before, this website is extremely good, providing some expressions in your academic writing. For example, like the first one is that being cautious. Remember, for the academic writing, we have to be very cautious. We can't just write whatever we want to write. We can't just put any claim without evidence or without supporting arguments or reference. So then how do we express it? There's several examples of in this website. For example, like, okay, being cautious when discussing implications, like, okay, the findings of this study suggest that, this, the keyword here is in the word suggest, which means that we are not claiming that the finding is like absolutely correct, 100% correct. It's just a suggestion, not an like absolute implication or something like that. Or like one possible implication of this is that blah 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 blah. So we kind of like subtle the expression by using one possible implication, which means that's not the only one. There might be some other implications that we might not consider yet at these steps. So that's why we just make it a less strong statement by saying one possible implication. Okay, or might like something suggest that there might be, or here the data reported here appear to support, see the chose, what is it, the option of the word appear. Okay, so we don't say that the data support the assumption of blah 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 blah. It seems like we are certain, 100% certain that the data support that kind of assumption, while probably not, probably there's something that we haven't checked. So a safe way to state it is just by putting helping word like appear, okay, or something like strategies to enhance X might involve your. So with the addition of what might, we allow some other possible strategies that could be better than the one that we are proposing in our research. Okay, so that's also by being cautious, and also actually, I found out that okay, um, some like I told you before, like we can't just claim on something. I can give you some examples of this one. Okay, uh, for example like this, okay, dalam berbagai penelitian telah dibuktikan bahwa peran ayah dalam keluarga sangatlah banyak. Okay, where is that research that you said? Okay, and then sangat banyak. Oh wow, so many. How many? It should be like, you know, you can't just say in the conceptual word, you have to put it in operational, something that can be measured. Okay, so you need to put the reference on it. And then, okay, this is something like this. This is one example of what I told you, like a tendency statement, a strong statement, but without like a supporting argument or reference. And then we should be very cautious in making this kind of statement. Okay, so masih banyak. Wow. And then not understanding their role is kind of like a really strong statement. So that's why this is I asked like, okay, what is the example of the case that kind of like, to support your statement here, or the reference that you can put in to support your reference here. Okay, so that thing is that what is it, something like you can't really put kind of like strong claim, or something like, for example, like this. Okay, sebuah keluarga terdiri dari ayah, ibu, dan anak. Is it always like that? I mean that that's just the common, right? The common, and probably in some society is no longer like that. So in this case, you might need kind of like additional word. For example, like pada umumnya di masyarakat Indonesia, sebuah keluarga terdiri dari bla 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 bla. Okay, we need the helping words like pada umumnya, and in such society where it is common. And even like that, we need the reference, okay, to support the statement. While if you say something like this, it seems like it's 100% of the form of the family is something like that, and we can't do that. We can't have something like that in the what is it, academic or scientific writing. Okay, this one also, kind of like a really so strong, what is it, claims that we have here. Okay, for example, this statement, so it's just like we have kesulitan serius di sekolah bla 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 bla. Terus okay, yang disebut sebagai kesulitan belajar. Also, this is how you define it. Okay, we can't just make our definition by ourselves. Okay, the problem with that is that because we are not an expert in this field, there might be lots of people out there in this area who already done research on these kind of things, and there might be like some solid definition about some measurements that we use here. So that's why you can't really put your own definition, or if you want to put it there, you might just say that you already tried to find out definition of these kind of things, but you can't find it to the best of your knowledge. That's why you just in this study you limit the definition of these things related to blah 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 blah. Okay, but you can't just make your own definition. Okay, this we need to be very cautious about that thing. Okay, this is also like, okay, kehilangan makna hidup karena dunia spiritual yang perlahan-lahan mulai ditinggalkan. Okay, are you sure that's because of spiritual? Even what is the definition of spiritual? I mean that, okay, that's the concept of spirituality, but then how do you measure it in this statement? Remember, when we have some kind of measurement, we need to check on the validity and reliability of that measurement. So that's why, again, we can't really have this kind of statement. Okay, you need to put like some helping words, if I may say, to show that you are being cautious, that you are considering some other possibilities, that what you do in your research is just one aspect or one consideration out of several possible considerations out there. Okay, and these websites helps you how to express it in a proper academic way. Okay, being critical, like I told you in the what is it in the literature review or in the background section of your writing, you don't just summarize the publications that you've read, but you also need to be uh, very critical. You analyze the goods and the bads, or the lackings of each of the related publications, so that you come out with your proposed research. So how to say, how to state, or how to write it in a good way. Okay, you can't just say, oh, research A is wrong in doing blah blah. Of course you can't do that. You have to do it in an elegant way. Okay, we still have to respect other people's work. Okay, you criticize them, but you don't let down their work. Okay, it might be there are some things that you still don't understand, or probably yes, the work is wrong, but it's not that wrong. I mean that we can just say that there are some little aspects that hasn't been considered in that work. Okay, so how to put it to be critical in such an elegant academic way? You can just see some examples of to express it in this website. Okay, for example, this statement is really good. Previous studies of X have not dealt with blah 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 blah. So we saw it that okay, you've done blah A B C, but I found out that there's a problem D that you haven't dealt with. For example, like that, you can't just say, oh, you are wrong because you are not doing this. Oh, that's a big no. Okay, so uh, that's about being cautious, being critical, and then sometimes you need to do compare and contrast, and also giving examples like I told you before when saying all the families, or really you have to give examples of to support your statement. Okay, signaling transition. Okay, a good writing should be coherent. I mean that there's like a continuation from one topic to the next topic, from one paragraph to the next paragraph, and then so we need the connecting words, the connecting terms, and this is kind of like there are so many examples in this website on how you can put your signaling transition. Okay, writing about the past and so on, and then this is how to refer to the sources. Okay, this is when you do your referencing. Okay, so for example, like what has been established or what has been done in the previous research, and then so you need this for your literature review or in your background section of your writing. Describing the method as well. Okay, so here are so many so many good ways to do that. Please have a look at this. Again, we have a resource section in your report. So there are also so many ways to to write it. Like I told you before, that you don't need to write every little thing of your result. Okay, you just need to report, find the highlight of important result or significant results, and then you do your interpretation on that thing. Okay, and how do you do that? These are kind of like some very good examples of doing it. Discussing findings, like I told you before in section 4 for your writing, you need to do some discussions. Okay, so then here are some examples okay, so like I told you before in this discussion section, you might just compare your results with the previous one, and then whether probably your results are in line or confirming the previous results, or probably your result is like contradicting the previous one, and it's okay to get a different result. The main important thing is that how you follow up or how you analyze your result. Okay, and these are a really good examples of how to express it. Okay, and also okay, and the last section in your writing is about writing conclusions and recommendations. Okay, so there are also really good of how to write your conclusions. Remember in the previous session, I told you that actually the conclusion section is just restating your aim or the objective of the study. Don't put like the detailed results in your conclusion because the detailed results is in the results section. And so you just put the result is like the significant results that you get, and then the recommendation is kind of like suggesting the implications or improvement that you can that in the future we can do in the future to improve the study. Okay, and we also need to acknowledge the limitation of our study if you found there are some limitations in what is it doing your study. Okay, and like I told you in the previous session that you do making recommendation for further research in the context of the methods and also for the practice of the policymakers. Okay, so all in all, in conclusion, I really recommend you to please go to this website and then read all sections, all what is it? Guidance from these websites. It will help you a lot in improving your writing. Okay, thank you.